Today I'm going to start a short series that I'm going to call Lessons with Elena. It's a little bit tongue-in-cheek because obviously there are a lot of people out there that are teaching wonderful information about essential oils. And what I'm going to be telling you is more or less just a small slice of what essential oils are all about and how they can help us to stay healthy in our everyday life. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about blending and why blending is important. So many times people will say to me, and especially right after the holidays, I got a beautiful candle, I'm so excited, and I love the way it smells. I'm not a big fan of candles, and let me tell you why. A couple of different reasons. Number one is I'm always worried about candles and safety. And many of you will say, oh, well, I'm super careful with my candles. I'm sure that I make sure all the time that I turn them off. And we may have pets in our house or children in our house that are just not as safety conscious as we are. So that's number one about candles. Number two, what does a candle do? It heats up a substance and then diffuses it throughout our space. I don't like anything that's heated and then diffused throughout my space, especially if I'm not sure of every single solitary ingredient that's contained within that space. Now, if you're talking about expensive candles, you can often see on the labels that they're 100% beeswax, or they have all cotton wicks, and that their wicks are certified lead-free. And certainly expensive candles carry a hefty price tag. If you go into some of the beautiful boutiques or even some of the bigger department stores, a candle about this size can easily cost you $100 US. When we're talking about less expensive candles that are what I'm going to call mass market from brands that, and you know who they are, in the malls, so some of the mall brands, I'm not so certain about not only what the wax contains, what the wick contains, and certainly not what the fragrance contains. And then we know that the fragrances are artificial, and then we're going to set those fragrances on fire and let them burn in our houses. Not me, not for my lungs and not for the lungs of my family. And I'm going to get some heat from this, I'm sure, but you know what? That's okay. So as candles are concerned, for me, they're a big no-no. Now, let's talk about diffusing. When we talk about diffusing, we're talking about usually single substances. We know exactly what's in the product. And number two is if you're using essential oils that are very high quality, I'm using doTERRA essential oils, which are certified pure, tested grade. I know that the quality of the product that I'm using is pure, and I'm never using heat. I'm only using cold air or direct diffusion. So I'm talking about cold air diffusion first. Number one is the water that I'm putting my essential oils on, and usually it's just a little small vessel of water, and then I'm dropping my essential oils on top, would be cold air. Cold water and then cold air vapor would be coming out. So I'm never getting that heat, that destruction of the property of the essential oil. So that's number one. We're not heating our essential oils. Number two, I always test my blends before I start out because I want to make sure that I really like what it is I'm going to be smelling. So I've got a little bit of a sheet of, this looks like a piece of greasy paper, right? Doesn't look that great. But this is the way I test my essential oil blends before I start out. So I'm going to be making a blend that has Siberian fir and cedarwood and cypress in it. And the reason I'm choosing those three essential oils, especially for this time of year, is because they're wonderful for respiratory support. All of those are big, strong conifer trees, and we know what our conifers do, and we know what our evergreens do. They basically cleanse the air all winter long. How? Because they don't drop their needles, right? They stay green. They are evergreen year-round. And the same thing is true of the essential oils. They're wonderful for cleansing the air. And right now, at least where I'm living, you can tell I'm a little bit bundled up here with my sweater on, and I've got my fireplace. It's not going, but it's right behind me. It's cold, and I want to keep my interior air fresh and clean. So I made a little blend that has actually 4 drops of Siberian fir, 2 drops of cedarwood, and 2 drops of cypress in it. And I really love the way it smells. Now I tested it out on this piece of paper because sometimes I make a blend and I make a mistake. And what I don't want to do is make the blend, not only dirty my diffuser and then wind up not liking it. I can basically kind of use this as a smell stick, test it out throughout the day, and then put my diffuser, fill my diffuser later on, or even in a few minutes if I really like this, or test another blend. So if you're thinking of blending something new and you're not sure, am I gonna like it? Am I not gonna like it? Or you read a list of ingredients in a blend that's online or on Facebook and you're really not sure, maybe Pinterest, is that the blend for me? There seems like there's a funny ingredient in there. Maybe it provides depth, maybe it provides a slightly different smell, but what I love about testing on paper is that it not only saves me the energy of making a blend and then having to clean up after it, it also saves me time and money, because I can take this paper that now I like and throw it in a drawer or a closet or something else, and then mix up the blend again and put it into my diffuser. So that's my lesson for today, why I'm not keen on candles, why I like essential oils better. And number 3 is, if you're putting together a blend, why you want to paper test first. And all of those are great tips for you to use if you're trying to economize, use your essential oils wisely, and also help create an environment for you and your family that's going to support your needs. So come back again. We're going to be having more lessons with Elena, and this is just number 1 on our